your Dungeon Master host for tonight. Kind of combined the two today. So we are gonna be doing, at first hour we're gonna be doing a Roll20 tutorial. The second hour we're gonna get into some Curse of Strahd prep, and then for our third and final hour we are going to do some Q&A, and then we might carry on the Curse of Strahd prep anyway. So what is up, guys? So I figured we could start today with some just basic stuff, you know, because a lot of people, I get loads of comments in Twitch and on YouTube saying, you know, how do I do X in Roll20? How do I start a game? How do I get everything together? I'm a new Dungeon Master. So first of all, ignore the hours played. You don't need to worry about that. I am a Plus member of Roll20 because I stream Dungeons and Dragons all the time, so that good enough to do that to streamers. What's up, Seal? So I'm gonna create a new game here. So when you come into Roll20, you sign in, you get your account stuff, and I want this. You get your account stuff, and then you just click on create a game. So we're gonna create a game together here today. So Plus casual, yeah. So option, choose a module. We don't need any of this stuff right now, but so names and tags. So we'll name the game Roll20 tutorial. We give it some tags. Roll20. It's not a Roll20 con event. So the thing down here is that you often miss is worth noting. It's option, choose a character sheet. It's pretty important because you can change it later, but it's more difficult to. It takes longer, more clicks. So under sheets here, these are the character sheets that you want to be using. We're going to make a D&D 5th edition game, so we're going to go on to Dungeons and Dragons somewhere. Dungeons and Dragons, come back here to me. 5th edition, 3.5. So the difference here between the sheets is kind of good. It beat you in hours. Oh, the thing is, I've got two accounts I actually use Roll20 on. One of them's for streaming, the other one is just in general stuff, so I'm pretty sure between the two I've got at least 2,000 hours. It's pretty sad. What's up, Mike? How's it going, man? So yeah, the OGL sheet here is the one we're going to use. So we're going to do some SRD stuff as well, because you can drop in content and I like it. So, I'm ready. Create a game. The SRD is by far my favorite because it allows me to just drag and drop content, which is super nice and quick. So man, let me see how many hours I have. Actually, I think it's probably around 1,000. Yeah, 1,100. Okay, good now. So here we are in the Roll20. Can you see everything? You can't see my tools bar. There we go. I'll bring that here so you can just about make out my tools bar. So in fact, I want it a little bit smaller just so you can see everything in here. Let's put like a background image just behind it so you guys aren't just looking at all silly nonsense. There we go. So we've got our Roll20 here. Different tools. Select, move, pan view is useful if you just want to pan. Other than that, you're mostly just going to be a select tool to highlight stuff. You got your next one, map and background, objects and tokens, GM info overlay, and dynamic lighting. You only have dynamic lighting if you're a Plus user, so assuming you're a free user. Map and background is where you're going to put all your maps and stuff. The tokens is the layer that you're going to have all your tokens on, and GM overlay is any secret stuff that you need. The draw shape is probably the best tool because you can draw stupid shapes everywhere. So you can draw a square. You can, what else can we do? Freehand it, so you can just draw squiggly lines and draw offline maps. You can do some polygon tools like this. You've got text as well, so we can type in here. It's all pretty good. This is all pretty standard stuff. That's the zoom tool. This is measuring tool, so this is how many feet. This is revealing areas. This is only for GMs. You see this. This is the turn order. Add a turn order and stuff in there. And then this is your dice roller. I don't know anyone that actually uses a dice roller, but it is there in case you need it. So let's just select all of these and delete them because we don't need them. We just don't need them in our lives anymore, chat. We've just had enough of them. So a few things that I set up with my that squiggly line there. Probably true for playing kind of. Yeah, true. So a few things that I do initially when I set up. So over here, your right-hand bar is an important one as well. The first tab here is your chat. and you can actually pop it up if you double click on it, which I didn't realize, but yeah, you can pop up your chat. Secondly, this is your search bar. You get tokens, maps, tiles, portraits, or just everything. So let's just type in like woods here, and if you're a DM, this is where you're going to be searching for your like maps and stuff like that and your images, and then you can simply just drag them in here, and they will appear after a few moments notice. In a few moments. So the third one is just with any luck. Anyway, we'll get into dragging some maps and stuff in. Your handouts and your character sheets. So let's just make a character sheet. Let's show you how to do this. What's up, Mr. Pippin? How's it going? In fact, I should... The program is Roll20. I'll do a quick little pluggeroo thing as we're just starting a new show. If you're new and you haven't followed, welcome to the Dungeon Master's Workshop. My name is Will. I'm your Dungeon Master and your host today. We're going to be rolling through a Roll20 tutorial, then on some Curse of Strahd prep, then on to a Q&A. So if you haven't followed and you're new, the best way to follow all of our shows and all the stuff that we do is to hit that follow button and join us. Every single follow means a lot to us, and you get a cool little pop-up thing on the stream. And you also get 100 gold, which you can put towards your character sheet in Discord Tavern RP. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. The Dungeon Master Workshop is free and open for anyone to ask any question and to not be judged. So if you feel like you've got a dumb question, don't worry, because I promise you someone else in chat is thinking about it, or someone else in YouTube is going to thank you for actually asking the question.
Welcome.
Thank you so much to I Am Champs for following. Welcome, my friend. You're a champ and a scholar. Welcome to the adventure. So, all that aside, and if you have any specific questions about Roll20 that you want asked, then do ask, because I will do my best to know. I have been DMing Mr. Pippin. Welcome, my friend. I haven't been DMing you, but welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar, sir. So, I've been DMing for about 9 years. I've been using Roll20 for probably around 2 or 3. The program itself is pretty intuitive, and if I don't know anything, I know the places to look it up. As well as we're lucky enough to know Hell's Demon. Welcome, Hell's Demon, to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar, so thanks for following, buddy. Trying to say there, we do know a few members of Roll20 staff, so if there are like any ridiculously difficult questions, I can always ask them. Now, son of a took. So let's go back here. So just making a character sheet is a pretty important thing, right? Making a D&D 5th edition character sheet is a thing. And in fact, I might do another tutorial on how to make your own character sheet in Roll20, because I know a lot of folks do this. So what you need to do is, if you're the Dungeon Master, so let me go ahead and delete this one here because we don't need it at the moment. So if you're a Dungeon Master and your first time DMing, or some just basic things that you need to do to set up your game, in my opinion, is to click here and add. So you're going to add character. They give you this random horrible name. They've given us a Haiti Firos. Let's just call this Player 1. And one thing which is pretty important, you need to give them permissions. And one thing which is often overlooked, or you can forget to do, is to give it to the players in their journals. So, in your players' journals, you'll have every single player in here who is yet to join the game. Of course, we've just made a new game, so there's no one else in here. So we're just going to set it to all players can see this character sheet. Can be edited and controlled by all players is also very important. Or to the specific player that you want that character sheet to go to. So for instance, I'm playing with Cord. This is Cord's character sheet. I will give it to only Cord's journal, and only can be edited and controlled by Cord. Everything down here at this point we don't need too much of, but we can drop an avatar into here if we wanted to. Let's just find a quick token. You can add your avatar into here. So let's just find a real quick one here. We're going to give him the male pog. Let's just give him this one. So, and then that will start uploading in just a few moments here. What's up, for I sent my group's characters yesterday. Nice, very nice. So welcome, player 1, to the game. So we've got his token now. And then it's very important to save changes. Do not forget to save changes. So you save it here, and you've got your character sheet here. You can actually drag in the token at this point, and it's on the map, which is pretty nice. We're in a GM info overlay. We don't want that. So you're going to click here and just to objects and tokens, and drag it into the objects and tokens layer. Now you have your character sheet. All pretty simple. We'll get to that in a few moments. So let's look on the rest of this, what we have on Roll20. So we've got the I tab here, 5th edition SRD. Confusing, right? This is a new tab that only has popped up recently. So One thing that we have here is we've got backgrounds, category index, we've got all the different stuff going on here. So we're just going to click on a random one to see what it is. So class is Barbarian. So if you click on this one here, and this is if you're on the OGL Roll20 community sheet, you can see this. If you're in the shaped sheets, you won't be able to see this. So you got Barbarian, and it's straight from the PHB, straight from the official Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition PHB. You can see all of the info here. So you got your hit dice, you got your different proficiencies, and you can just write these in here. So it's pretty easy for me to bring a sheet over here and a sheet over here and say, okay, so my I get an extra attack. You know, my hit dice are 1d10 per level. So my hit dice here, you know, 1d10. I can write it in pretty easily. So what, 10? Well, in fact, it's only the 1. So yeah, and you know that because it's your class, you have a D10, so you can just write that in somewhere. So it's pretty nice and easy. We'll get more into the SRD in a little bit, but let's just do a very quick kind of overlook of that. We've got the jukebox here. The jukebox is pretty cool. So I'll turn off my own audio. I'm getting my audio from tabletop audio, but let's add in a track. So you can either go from sound or you can go from tabletop audio, which is what I use. And tabletop audio is actually integrated into this. So you can test out your different sounds here, and you can hear them. Ooh, pretty good. We like that one. So maybe I like that one. I'm going to add it. And so I now have The Desert Awaits here now playing. And I can loop it. I can change the volume level of it. So it can be really quiet. It could be really loud. Ooh. So let's just keep that going on in the background for a little bit. What else have we got here? We've got the decks. So the deck of cards is something that no one really uses or looks at because we've mostly played D&D, so I'm honestly not a lot of help when it comes to the cards because I've never used them and I've never seen them used in the game. So there you go. Moving on to the cog, we've got the macros here, which is cool. We'll get into macros a bit. That's quite advanced, the macro stuff. So the display name. So one thing which is pretty nice about Roll20 is when you join into a different game, you can just change your display name to name of the character that you're playing, which is super helpful. So say, I'll move this up here so you can see a bit better. So at the bottom I am Will J, so I'm going to change my display name to my character Grog. So I'm going to save as Grog, and I'm now playing as Grog. So that's pretty nice. You can also change the master music volume level here. So you can change your music from this bit here. Probably one of the most annoying things about Roll20 is Kalita could use a deck many things, yeah. We've used deck cards, card decks in our game as part of the carousing option for downtimes instead of rolling actually get to play. That's cool, yeah, that's a nice idea. I've just never seen them used, I guess. Yeah, one of the most annoying things, I hope you guys can see this kind of alright. Bring this up a little bit bigger so you can see more of the capture here. Let's get rid of that. Is enable background chat bleep. So when you roll something, it makes a horrible bleeping noise when someone else rolls it and you're not looking. So I always tick off enable background chat bleep because I just hate it. These other options aren't too important here. The other things which are important, I want to broadcast voice and video to others. So when you join in a Roll20 game, it'll automatically be set. What's up, Francis? It'll automatically be set to I want to broadcast video and voice and receive video and voice from everyone else. I don't want that really. For the most part, I do all my streaming stuff through Zoom, so I don't need any of this. But if you're joining your Roll20 group, then you can change to turning off your camera layer, turning on your camera, or just have nothing at all. So I just have nothing at all, and I want to receive nothing from anyone. You can also change the size of your avatar down the bottom left, as you can see. So I can make this really big if you for some reason want them really large, or you can have them small, or you just have names only, which is what I usually tend to do, just having only names down there. Other than that, we don't need to get into experimental features, so let's head on back to our character sheet here. No worries, Seal. Yeah, we're doing good, Highland, we're doing good. We're running through some Roll20 basics here for folks. You think Roll20 gives better quality than Skype? Yeah, I mean, I've had some real bad problems with Skype, so I can't really say, but I've never used the Roll20 stuff just because I don't really like how it's laid out, I suppose. And also because we have Zoom, which is super better. So yeah, let's go into the character sheet. So we have like some basics here, but let's say you're a new DM and you want to set up a map. We'll get into the character sheet for the player stuff. So you want to set up a map. We've got a token here, and it's in the right layer. It's in objects and tokens. Let me bring it down again so you guys can see my layers and all that I have going on here. So yeah, the layer stuff happens in the second one down. So objects and tokens, and it's important what layers things are in. So let's just find a quick map. So we're going to go to our second one along, and we're going to click on map tiles and textures. We're going to search woods. So we search woods, and let's have a look what it brings up. So immediately I find myself with a map, and I can just click and drag it, and all we need to do is expand it like so. And so it comes up into better quality. Maybe you want to kind of expand it out a little bit so it looks like it's in the right kind of frame, I suppose. Doesn't look too distorted. Awesome, Dom. I will have a read of that tonight after I finish this. In fact, fun fact, I've got the 6-hour stream and I've got like a 3 or 4 hour game of Game of Thrones game happening with Josh, Beth, and James after this. So I've got Deep Woods here, but as you can see, like our token is underneath. And we've got this here. So what we can do is you can right click and just go to back, and then it brings up here. But every time you try and select a token, you can accidentally move the map, which is not what we want. We don't want the map to be moving at all, basically. Once you have it set in place, so let's say that again, we've set it in place here. This is about where we want it. What we're going to do is we're going to right click and layer, and then click again. At the moment you can see it's in the token layer, but what we want is it for it to be in the map layer. So we're going to put it down in the map layer, and as you can see our grid appears here. Exactly, Domus. Yeah, I'm explaining this for noobs, Domus. Don't worry, man. Game of Thrones, yeah, it's a fun game. It's a Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game by Green Ronin Publishing. So as you can see, we've got our map in the map layer now. So we can click up on the second one down, click map and background, and we can now have access to moving the map around. So we can bring her like so. Here we go. We've got our map moving around. We can move that as we will. But we go back into the objects and tokens, and then we try and click on the map and move it around. We can't, so we just have the token moving around here, which is nice and simple for folks. So we have our tokens moving around like so. I need to destroy some things because my internet wants to kill itself. That's a good sign. Not a good sign at all, boy. Let's take this like so. And let's get rid of a few things here. There we go. So that's a pretty basic way to just drag a map in, and then you've got it all kind of sorted out for the most part. Grid is not aligned, rage rising. Well, we'll get into that in a bit, but this is just a basic stuff. So thanks Ruining for following. Welcome, my friends, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar. So thanks for following, dude. If you guys are new, haven't followed, hit that follow button. So let's get some ERP shores for brewing. So we'll align the grid in a bit, but for a very basic level, we'll go into that in a bit. I feel like the aligning grids is a bit more advanced than folks really want at this point. So we've got that. Let's also throw something into the GM info overlay. So let's we're in the GM info overlay, the third one down, and I'm going to write a note for myself. And then I'm going to third one down here and click on text. I can change what kind of text I want and the size of it, and only I will be able to see this. So I'm going to write here, trap. Very obviously, I'm going to write trap here, so I know that it's there. And if I go to my players view, they wouldn't be able to see it at all. Only we can see that as the DM. So when he trips here, we know that he's fallen into the trap. So that's some basic stuff you could do there. Yeah, it's pretty counterproductive when you're trying to be a professional streamer when your internet tries to kill itself. So we've got that. Put it on. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. So we'll go back here and see what else we could do. Let's do some more of the. Let's do some more token stuff. So we want to add a bad guy to the scene. We want to add some bad guys. So we need to go back into our objects and tokens layer so we can get a token onto the right thing. We click on tokens, let's search orc. And Roll20 has a great database of free stuff. I'm lucky enough to have a bunch of paid tokens as well off the marketplace. to use during campaigns. So let's just drag in an orc here. So we have an orc here, and we'll say the orc's just here. He's going to have a fight with our friend here in a few moments. So at the moment he's not really sticking on the page very well. Okay, so we're gonna do a few bits to him as the DM. So we can click on him, and we're gonna click on this bit down here. I'm just gonna mark him as an enemy. I tend to mark my enemies with just a red little dot, so that they know that they're bad, basically. So it's a red little dot there, so we can see that he is an enemy. If we click on his token here, one of the fun things to do is, let's say he represents, his name is Orc1. We can show nameplate, and then that actually shows his nameplate below his token. We'll see that in just a few seconds. So yeah, he is a Orc1, controlled by me. So let's save that, and then that happens. Let's double click on him again and change a few more stuff. The red dot of aggro, that's when you know he's onto you. And you can add these bars things. The bars are pretty good. I tend to use the red one for HP. So let's say it's got 9 HP. We're going to add 9 out of 9. You leave them blank for no bar. And so, like so, he now has 9 hit points on his bar there. And you can take them off. Whenever you take off a hit point, so you can double click again. So now he's been hit for 2 hit points, for instance. You can save changes, and the bar actually goes down. Actually, I'll do a little bit more so it's more clear. So if he's down on 2 hit points, he has a very weak kind of amount of bar right there, so it's not too good. Welcome to the adventure, Orc1. You're a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you for following. In before someone makes an account called Orc1. So we've got this fella here, and that's just a few things you can do. You can also, just have blue bar for AC is what I usually use. So say his AC is 10. You can put it in here. You don't need to fill out the second one for the bar, because you're not going to be reducing his AC. So we're just going to put the first one in bar as 10, and then when I save on him, and when I kind of mouse over him, or I double click on him, I can see what his HP is, and I can change it from there, which is pretty handy. Or I can just select him like this, and I can see what his HP is. I can manually edit it from here. So what you can do is you can just set it to 1 here, and it also works by doing the adding function. So you can just add 4, and it goes back up to 5. So it's pretty intuitive, nice and easy to do. There's always a married apple or 2 in the barrel. True. I don't know if they're married, but apparently now they are. Let's keep this jukebox on loopage here. Alright, so we've got some pretty basic stuff. Setting up some tokens, setting up a map, setting up a GM info overlay, taking a character. So let's do the character sheet stuff, because it's fairly good. I use green keep straight for AC, red for HP, and blue for spell usage. Sure, I mean, it's totally up to you guys. It's pretty intuitive, so you can do most things with Roll20, which is one of the reasons for its success. So let's go back to the character sheet here. So we've got our player 1 here, and we've got his token set up. We know who he is. So we're going to add in some strength scores and let's just give him some random amounts. Let's make him really poor at dexterity. He's got a 6 in dexterity. He's just the worst. He's got a 12 in con. He's got a 13 intelligence. He's fairly wise, and he's also, thankfully, very, very charismatic on a 19. So let's just set all this character sheet stuff up. So one of the cool things is on this one, you can select your character sheet here. You can select from this drop-down menu, which unfortunately doesn't show. But there's a drop-down menu here. I can just click on Cleric, or I can click on Paladin. And it will actually change the maths in the sheet for you. So for instance, druids have different hit die to barbarians. So let's roll for the barbarian. So for instance, if I rolled a hit dice here as a barbarian, it would roll me let's have a look at the maths, a 1d1. Okay, that's not right. Let's put it in d10 here. There we go, that's more like it. No. Okay, apparently we messed it up. Total 1. Hit dice 10? No? Okay, we messed up some maths there. Oh no, I'm the worst at tutorials. Don't worry, we'll cut it all in post, no one will notice. Says that all of us is Thursday 6 decks, yeah. Had an orc with this name in my first ever campaign, Orca. I had to phonetically read that one out. But yeah, it changes the maps for you, which is pretty nice. I fucked something up on the hit dice, but who cares? Anyway, some mapsy things which people run into difficulties on is like the weapon stuff here. So I'll bring it up nice and big for y'all to see. There we go, nice and so big. So we got our name. So we're gonna say this is our rapier. In fact, let's just call it a longsword because I know the longsword stuff off the top of my head better. So it's going to be a strength. It's not a magic weapon, so you leave this one at 0. You don't need to add anything into range. You don't need to add any magic bonus in unless you feel need to. The damage is going to be 1d8. So you write in whatever your weapon's damage is, and it's already got your strength bonus in there for you. And then if it has a second damage type, maybe it's like a fiery magical weapon, you can add in your damage type there and how much damage that does. If it has a saving throw, you can click this and then tell you, and you can write in what saving throw the creature needs to make, whether it's a dex or a con or a wisdom save. We don't need that though. And then all you do is you click on the lock bar, you can unlock it, and then you just click on this cog here, and it's saved, which is pretty nice and simple. So big, oh boy. So then you just click on longsword, and then it rolls for you, he says, as it does not roll. No, he's fucked it. How's this not rolling? Let's add in our saves. Let's add in some random skill points here. You just click on those to make sure that you have them as well, by the way. So like performance adds your proficiency bonus to it. So we have our longsword in there, and we can add in other weapons and stuff like that. Thank you so much to the one and only Orc One. Welcome, Orc One, to the adventure. I see you down there. I see you, Orc One. Don't think I don't. You are a gentleman and scholar, though. Welcome, buddy. I called it. I was in before that happened, you know. Oh, damn it. The failed fish is real, boys. The failed fish is real. So, that is pretty simple. Let me read these messages here. So, we've got a character. All hail! Some ERP shores there. We can also add in our attacks and spellcast stuff down here, which is pretty nice. So let's just. My face is in your way. Oh god, no. So we can add in attacks and spellcasting. So for instance, you know, I've got a spell. It's, you know, fireball or something like that. I can add that in there and it does all the same stuff. You cog it. You can add all your items in here. So I've got a bow. And I can lock it, unlock it, I can add it. If it's locked and you can't edit it, if you unlock it, you can delete them. So for instance, I can delete my bow like that and it's gone. Pretty nice. Other important things. So probably the coolest thing about the fucking the SRD stuff is this, really, for me. So let's add a cantrip. So normally what you have to do, I think you need to give me a hat. Yeah, give me a hat. Can I have a wife, please? Good lord. Well, the SM Orc is real. Role-playing the one and only Orc in chat right now. Dear lord. So one of the coolest things about the SRD sheets, which is super good, and it's a bit of a game changer for people like me who stream D&D 5 nights a week, 9 shows a week. You should totally follow if you haven't already. Shameless plug. Then the red will mean married, right? Yeah, it's one thing you can do, is you click on the eye, and let me bring this back down for y'all to see again. So you click on the eye tab, the eye, the old seeing eye. Click on this eye here. We're going to get rid of classes. We're going to click on spells down the bottom here. So, spells, let's say we have Acid Arrow, because it's the first one I see. We've got Acid Arrow. Normally what you'd have to do is you'd have to click on which school it's from. It's from divination. Is it a ritual? What casting technique? You're going to manual nerding, writing out. It takes you half an hour to write out all of your spells because you're a fucking cleric and you've got 20 of them and you're level 7. Jesus Christ, it's the worst thing in the world. So luckily what you can do is with a handy new tool from Roll20, you click Acid Arrow. You drag Acid Arrow here. And when it turns yellow, you release your mouse. Release the mouse, and there you have it. It's evocation. It's got all the stuff in for you, and then you can just cog it, and it's gone. You cog it and it's gone, guys. And then you can just have your acid arrow. You can fill out any more information that you need to, the target range, stuff like that. It's all done for you. It's really super nice. Let's add in a third level spell. Let's add in Animate Dead. Oh, look. It's there. It's done. All the information is there. So I click Animate Dead. And, oh my lord, all of the text for Animate Dead is there. It's even rolled for me. It's so nice. It's so intuitive. Yeah, that's a nice cantrip. So that is super easy. Super easy to set up. Super fun. And the spells... Honestly, there's never been a better time to play a spellcaster in Roll20 with the SRD sheets. So make sure that your DM is using the SRD sheets if you want to play a spellcaster, because you're going to save yourself so much time. So much time. I wrote out all my warlock spells by hand yesterday. Huggles, no! 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 You could save yourself all your time by just... You know, all you need to do is dominate person. You just drag it in. Look, you're dominating all of the people suddenly. Look, you're in a fucking mad one. You've dominated everyone. You cast it at 6th level. You're OP as fuck, and you saved yourself so much time. It's so good. Back in my days, conjuration was badass. This sucks. I had a bard and wizard who needs to actually type the shit. I know, my friend. Welcome so much. Forgotten Orc 2 to the adventure. Welcome, Forgotten Orc 2. We forgot about you, but welcome to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Dear Lord. The roleplay in chat. You can't stop, you guys. Let's let me get here. Sorry, people are messaging me. I know, the same for Graven on Thursday. Oh boy, would this work for my paladin as well? What's up, I'm Wizard? You know, I'm Wizard. I've been meaning to reply to your email for like a month, and I am the worst person, so I apologise. It's totally cool that you can't make the Thursday session, man. No hard feelings whatsoever. So let's say you're a paladin. Let's go to your character sheet back here, and let's click on core. So let's say I'm no longer a fighter, I'm actually a paladin. Player 1 has become a paladin, so I'm going to go to spells. And you know, let's find a paladin spell off the top of my head. They've got a bunch of spells. Let's just say that paladins can have heroism. You know, I don't even if I know if it's true. I could look it up in my player's handbook and find out if it's true or not. But let's say he's got heroism. Click. He now has heroism. All of the spells. In fact, almost all of the spells I believe are in here. I think there are some which are missing. Because the SRD doesn't have every single one in there. So it has like 90% of the spells in there. So yeah, it'll work for paladin spells, it'll work for basically absolutely any spells, because the list is huge here. So go ham, you know. And if there are a few which you have to write in, then you know, you take the time to write them in. It's no huge deal, because you know 90% of your work is going to be done for you, which is, you know, super easy, absolutely amazing. I know, yeah. Yeah, some of some weird names, but don't worry about them. So spells, drag and drop. I mean, I can't say this enough to you guys. Drag and drop in your spells. You've got a 7th level spell, Commune. It's there. It's prepped. You click it. It's done. You've saved yourself hours of time handwriting your spells out in your book like you used to do. No longer. I know, I'd go so far as to say this is so much quicker than actually manually flipping the page into PHB as well. Because who fucking knows the page reference for Commune, right? Off the top of your head, what's the page reference for Commune? Okay, let's see how long it takes me to find Commune. Let's go see. Fuck, I can't even open the book. That's how bad I am at books. So let's find, we're in G. Commune? What was I looking for? Commune. Yeah, Commune. Okay, so, you know, that took me, what, 20-30 seconds to get out my handbook, find the page reference, and then read it out. So I've got to read it out as well. So it's 1 minute, you contact your deity or divine proxy, and blah, 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 blah. You've got to read this all out. So it is on page 223. 223, you are a lucky winner tonight. So yeah. It takes you so much longer, rather than just like dragging it up on your Roll20, adding it in, finding the SRD, scrolling down, drag, drop, done. You're done, son. Pretty close, guys. Not so bad. So close. Welcome back, Dom. So that is a pretty easy way to get through here. So you're also important spellcasting ability, add it in, whatever it is. So, for instance, you're a bard, it's charisma. You're a warlock, it's charisma. Everyone has a different, depending on their class, different spellcasting ability. And then it maths out for you your spell save DC and your spell attack bonus. So if we change it round, then they change it. So if we have none, it doesn't tell her, but charisma and stuff, it'll change it round for you. It's all super nice. The bio tab is where you can add in everything about your character fluff-wise. This isn't mechanics, so here you've got age, size, height, weight, hair, skin, eyes, blah blah blah. Character appearance, allies, organizations, features, traits, treasure, character backstory. Pretty self-explanatory. And then the core stuff is also fairly simple as well. Don't forget when you're doing this to click on the two saves that your character needs to have. For depending on their class. So depending on your class, you get 2 saving throws proficiency in. Thanks so much to Tasselhoff75 for following. Welcome, Tasselhoff, to the adventure, my friend. Welcome, David Tasselhoff. You are a gentleman and a scholar. The one thing have stuff on the internet is that you learn it too much and never really learn it properly. The mechanics of a spell. I prefer writing it down. I guess. I mean, if you want to go the hard route, you can do. But I mean, a lot of people are just looking to get that quick. I guess like a lot of the people that would be really handy for is people who do know the spells and who play loads of games, such as me. But I just don't want to have to write in individually every single time. So having it all on the internet is super helpful. And quick and easy as well. So yeah, make sure you click please to have your 2 saves depending on what your class, what your race is rather. And then if you are skilled in a skill, you click them like so. So then they add your proficiency bonus to them like that. It's super nice and easy. And then all we need to do is click intimidation. And then it'll roll intimidation for me. So for instance, it's a 1d20 plus 6 because I got a plus 4 plus my proficiency bonus. Super nice, super easy. Rolls for you. Never have to manually roll out a skill again. You just have the heads up work. What's up, Tasselhoff? Maybe so. What does the OGL character sheet mean? Open something license is what it means. I forget the exact term. Open gaming license. There we go. Yeah. It's what Wizards recently did with 5th edition. It happened like 2 months ago, and I did some videos on it, and I was like, this is the most important thing ever, and everyone's really excited about it, including me. But yeah, because still a lot of people aren't using these sheets, I see, and it's a good idea to. Let me start my video back up, and we're back. The meetings go idle on Zoom after a while because there's no one else on the call with me. That's interesting to know. Yeah, this move sheet makes it so easy. See you later, Saw. See you later, guys. Why is it different from the other character sheets? Because it uses the Open Gaming license, whereas the others are used under just the normal community license. So they're allowed to use the SRD stuff, which is out. Inspiration, another note, just click inspiration if you have it. You'll never get it because you're playing 5th edition. So, alignment, you don't need fucking alignment. Race, background, experience pointing at us in here. Actually has security is interesting. Anyway, little glitch there. And you can add your death saves here, how many you've got, such and such. So there you have it. You can add any tools, any tool proficiencies you have, and any other languages that you have down here. Pretty simple stuff. Any questions regarding the character sheets at this point, guys? Feel free to ask. Can these sheets be printed out for tabletop without computer access? Can they be printed off for tabletop? I don't know, actually. I don't think so. Let's edit character sheet. See if we can find our character sheet here. I don't know. I've never heard of that being done. We can just go on all of them here. I mean, you could take a screenshot of this and print it off, right? I mean, so all I'd need to do is just take a screenshot of everything and then just print it off. So I don't see why not. Can you use the FX stuff of these sheets? Yeah, I believe so. Yes, if the rules say bards get Dex and Charisma rather than having to fill it yourself, you can do it automatically. Exactly, it's pretty nice. Yeah, that's third parties to grab info from the rules. Yeah. So that is characters. I'll give you guys a few moments here to ask any questions that you have. And reply a few messages. So, that is some basic character sheet stuff that you guys need. As ever, feel free to ask any questions about the stuff. We'll have to maybe stick with the form fillable one I got, which does some calculations. And yeah, I mean, I'd suggest if you're not playing in Roll20, then there are some really good form fillable PDF sheets that you can print off and use. These ones aren't as good for home use, definitely. Yeah, so let's move into some other stuff for DMs here. So let's add Forgotten Orc number 2, shall we? Let's change his name. Forgotten Orc 2. We'll add you in, buddy. There you go. He's off here somewhere. Everyone's forgotten about him. You need to be on the lookout for ever vigilant Orc 3, however. What else we got? We're kind of a quarter an hour left before we need to go into some Curse of Strahd prep. Okay, so let's move on. Let's do some grid alignment, I suppose. We'll do some grid alignment. So what we do is when you want to align your grid to the map, because as you can see, the grid itself doesn't align very well. There are lines upon lines here, and they're not good. So, oops, wrong one. I want to bring the Roll20 over so you can see my tools here. There you go. So we're going to click map and background. We're going to right click the map. We're going to go to advanced, and you can either set dimensions, which is another thing, but you can align to grid. Now, this is a bit of a tricky process occasionally. It doesn't always work out the first time. And so, give it a casual racism. It's not okay. So, the grid alignment tool is pretty handy. So what it reads here, I'll read out to you. This tool allows you to quickly size your map background to match the Roll20 grid on the current page. Instructions: click and drag to create the box the size of 3x3 grid cells on the map background you're using. Sounds pretty easy. Occasionally it doesn't always work though, because it's hard to see your grid compared to the Roll20 grid sometimes. So I'm going to cancel, and what I'm gonna actually do is right click up on the settings here, and this is a whole new kettle of fish, but we'll get into this in a moment. All you need to worry about at this point is I just want to take the opacity of the grid off and take it down to 0. So the less opacity it has, the better. So we have nothing here, which is super easy, so that the grids of this one don't get in our way. So we're gonna right click layer, right click advanced, and then align to grid. So we need to draw a 3x3 grid. So we're going to do this as well as I can with my feeble hand. So we're going to go 3x3 like so. And then it says it's 93 by 92 pixels. So we're about in there. So let's align to grid and let's see what that does. Okay, so we don't see anything really happening at that point, but we're going to click on our opacity and bring our opacity back up and see if it aligns, and oh blimey, it basically aligns almost perfectly. So you can do a little bit of adjustment here. So as you can see, there's a few points where it goes off a little bit, so I think we're going to try that again, and probably going to align it 92 by 92 because that sounds like it's probably about right. But as you can see, I mean, you get the hang of this with just a few different goes essentially. Advanced, align to grid. Let's zoom back in again. Let's set this like 3 by 3 like this, and let's see what it says. Oh, 70 by 69 pixels. Let's put it 70 by 70 and see if that works any better. Alright, so it hasn't really done much, but we're about there. You can also hold down Alt to move the map to align a little better as well. If you hold down Alt, that'll also work. So I'd give a few goes at aligning the map perfectly if you really care too much. I'm never really too bothered by all that stuff. I don't really use maps anyway, so there is that function in Roll20 should you need to use it. And then yeah, you can use layer items on top. So if I had my many hand-drawn maps and encounter locations scanned, they can be imported. Yeah, let's import some maps to show you how you do that. So all you actually need to do, I'm just going to bring up a folder here where I have some maps stored. And what I'm going to do is just to see if I have a monitor capture so you guys can see this. I think I might delete it. Yeah, I have a monitor capture. Alright, so I have a map here, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new page. Create a new page. I'm going to go into the settings of the page again. I'm going to bring down the opacity a little bit because I don't like it. I'm going to go OK, click back here. I'm going to set into the map and background, make sure I'm in the right layer. I'm going to bring up my folder. I've just got a folder with a map in it, and all I'm doing at this point is dragging and dropping. So as you can see, I am now uploading a file to Roll20. All you need to do is drag and drop. Dire badges are pretty thing of nightmares, it's true. So it's just uploading there. So let's get that uploading bar going across, and all it's doing is just drag and dropping it in, and we'll see my map here in a second. So this is one I have. This is one I made earlier. I didn't make this map. I bought it from somewhere, or someone gave it to me. One of the two things. I either bought it or someone gave it to me, because people are very generous and like making maps for a show, or just sending me free stuff, which is pretty cool. So we've got a map here now, and it's in the right layer. If we go to the objects and tokens layer, we can bring in player 1. We just drag and drop him in there, like so, and he can 3D move around and hang out. This is one from D20 Dating, actually. We use this one. Looky, I'm drawing a character portrait. Let's have a look there. Oh, sick, dude. You're fucking awesome. That is some awesome artwork, dude. Do you do commissions, by the way? And if so, what are your rates? Or send me an email, because that's fucking awesome. 282, I see you. So yeah, that's pretty easy. Drag and drop is pretty easy. It works for other images as well. So for instance, if you've got like a world map, let's go back into the map and background. I think I've got a world map here. I've got the Dark Sun map we used for our 2,000 follower special, like last month or however shortly ago that was. So there we go. And then we have our mapping as well, so it doesn't have to just be gridded stuff. So actually, I'll take off the grid. So I'll show you guys how to take off the grid. If you're like me and you don't give a shit about grids, then grid enabled, click off, like so, and then you don't have a grid, and you can just move it loosey goosey around the places, not snapping to a grid. So that's pretty nice and easy there. And it's in the right layer as well, which also means it's not on a grid, so it can stretch it any kind of amount that you want without having to hold down Alt. So that's pretty handy. I like using it every now and again. And this is of course quite a cool map that we made before. Actually, I like that map. Yeah, no, I made it with Chap like a month or two ago when we did a 2,000 follower thing. It's called, it's on YouTube, it's like the Dark Sun 2,000 follower stream. Also, you can rename your thing. So the first one is automatically called Start. We're going to call this one Courtyard. We're going to call this one, like, World Map. Apologies for the motor cycle going outside my road. Oh yeah, it's freaking awesome picture I'm looking at. So, that is about where we are with that. Targon Forest, I remember that place. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's go to the settings here as well for some basic stuff. You can set the scale to 1 unit being 10, like 10 feet. So if it's 10 feet, then what we can do is we can get our measuring tool, and every one is 10 feet. It doesn't really come into play too much, but if you're anal about that sort of stuff, like I know a lot of people like doing that, then there you go. You can also change the page size. Let's make it a huge page, just double the size of it. So 50 by 50, let's make it big. So now we have all of this white space to play with down here, and we can drag our map. If you want a huge battle map, you can just bring it out like this, and it's huge and sprawling. Of course, you do lose the quality when it gets higher, as it gets more pixelated, depending on like the quality of your file, I guess. What else we've got here? You can also change it to, if you want to play Pathfinder, you can set the grid to that, so it's on a hex grid, and we usually just use the D&D 4e square. You can change the hex and stuff like that. And you can also change the color awfully grid as well, so you could change it to black if you had it on. Which I'll show now, so now you've got a black grid on instead. So, yeah, pretty intuitive system. What's up, Ties? Is there a will save just for you? There is indeed, my friend. What's up, Ties? How you been, man? Haven't seen you in a little while. Can you show us how to align hex maps? Well, I don't know. I haven't done that. I'm afraid that Skynet will take control of your game, though. Constantly. It's as if I live in fear. Let's see if we can align a hex map real quick. So let's change it to hexed. Like so. And you know, I have never tried to do this because I don't actually have a hex map. And I never use them because I never play hex games. So we just find like a hex map? Alright, let's try and like align. Let's get rid of this. Let's try and align this file to this. I wonder if we can do that. This is just a awfully off the cuff kind of things. Can we layer? Okay, advanced, align to grid. A 3x3. I don't know how we do a 3x3 grid list. So I guess we could start at this point. 3, 1, 2, 3. Down like so. I have no idea. Let's see. Align to grid. Nope. Well, you're fucked with hexes. It looks like. Yeah. No idea how to do hexing. Never tried that before though. What's up, Skagath? How's it going, man? Need to rotate. I mean, I guess you probably could work it out, but I don't want to spend the time doing that for this basic tutorial here. I'm sure with enough time and effort, you could probably find a way of doing it. But you know, is it worth that time? Probably not. Just you know, chill. We've got our Forgotten Orcs in here. Orc number 1, Forgotten Orc 2, of course. So, any questions before we head on to our next session? Feel free to drop by, ask a question. I promise you, no one will judge you for it. It's a kink-shaming free zone. Yeah, luckily, lucky for you guys. You are all the hexes. You've been behexed. You've been betwixt and hexed by the witch. So yeah, that is a pretty basic, just 1 hour tutorial as to how you can you hex a thing. What'd you get for free and what'd you get for premium? Yeah, the only thing I could use is the like Zarek is saying. What's up, by the way, James? Haven't seen you in ages. The alt and dragging edges until you get it to fit could possibly work. Yeah. Let's go look at the different perks of premium, so and plus and stuff like that. So trying to figure out if players can click on enemy tokens and see stuff. Okay, so they can't see the HP bar and stuff like that, as far as I'm aware, unless you change the permissions for them. So let's click on my account. Let's see plus here. It says that I'm a plus user here. Recently played with all these folks. Okay, where is subscription stuff? I'm gonna give gift subscription. Might take us to the subscription levels. Here we go. You can also do line of sight and dynamic. Yeah, we'll get into that stuff here. So if you're a plus user, you get 1,000 megabytes of storage, which is double, 10 times more than you normally get. I mean, honestly, I've never run out of space. I think I ran out of space the other day after like a year of streaming games. So, you know, there's that. Nice, dude. Looking forward to that. I'm pro on Roll20. See, I don't think it's really worth the kiss, you know. Thanks, Sorfang. What's up, man? But Roll20 give streamers plus accounts and stuff. So dynamic lighting and mobile support is what you get. You don't get any dev server access, but you don't necessarily need that. You get forum access to the public forums. Yep, as everyone does. Help and support forums. You're never going to use that. Let's be real. Sure thing, Sorfang. Have a good one, man. We should get a game together at some point. If you're around, dude, then drop me a line on Twitter or something. We'll play a game sometime, man. Plus, no advertisements. Cool. And no loading ads for your players. I guess that's a perk. Profile badge. Cool. Yay. And then price. You pay $5 a month, or you can pay per year. You can also gift people stuff. So the pro account is you get nice, Harry, that's awesome, dude. You get 2,000 megabytes of storage. Wow. I don't know anyone's going to use 2,000 storage megabytes, but maybe you can if you're using really detailed maps. You get the same dynamic lighting and mobile support, so you can use it on your touchpad or whatever. You get full access to the dev servers. You get to help test new features and give feedback. I've never tried this. I'm personally not very interested in doing that, but you do get that option. You get a pro forum, direct feedback to the dev team if you're interested in that sort of stuff. Again, doesn't seem like something worth really paying for me. The email support, again, who's going to use that? No adverts as well. You also get the Roll20 API is really what you're paying for. Like, they put it as the last thing, but like, to be real, like the only step up from Plus to Pro is the Roll20 API, which means that you get a bunch of different stuff that you can do, such as FX, and you can also do cool stuff like different macros and stuff like that. We're not going to enter that now because we don't have enough time to, but maybe in the future I'll do a more detailed analysis of the Roll20 API because it's in JavaScript, and if you guys know any Java, well, if you don't know any Java, you're going to be fucking confused and you're going to do a lot of reading, so it's probably helpful to have some tutorials around. So everything dumb, have a good night, my friends. See you soon, buddy. The only thing I really dislike is the library is too simple, not really a thing. Yeah, I don't like the library too much. Yeah, the character sheet works well for mobile support, I find. Not that I never need to use it, but I tried it once and it was cool. So that is the only question from you guys, it seems like. So, other than that, we're going to head on over to our second section of the show, the second order of the day. I do declare, the second order of the day is horror. So if I was to DM, you'd recommend what package? Can you use the maps and tokens if you're free? Honestly, if you're a new DM, I recommend you don't pay anything to Roll20. Because, just replying to a tweet here. I'd say free, try it out, and if you end up, if you end up needing to use the later stuff, then you can, but try it out as free and see if you like it, basically. I need to tweet out that we're doing Curse of Strahd prep at this point. We're live with some hashtag Curse of Strahd prep right now. Let's write the next episode. There we go. Let's get a tweet, let's find some artwork real quick, and we'll get on to the next section here. Apologies for a little interruption there. So, let's get into it. Ooh, nice. Why, yes, sir, you can make awesome things happen in a game. You can turn a guy into stone. Well, one question around streaming in general, things like Roll20, if you upload art, you're okay using it without owning it, provided it's not profit. How do you guys handle that? So we're pretty careful what we do with artwork, especially with the website now at this point, because you can get fucked really easily, especially on website stuff. In terms of streaming, I'm not entirely sure on the legality, we should probably ask Mitch about that, but we don't use any images that we're not supposed to use. We use free images, so everything that you see on the website is we've either gotten permission from the owner to use, or it is Creative Commons license 3.0 or whatever it is. Let me tweet. Cool. Done. So, and I will move us on over to the next best thing. Some Curse of Strahd prep. So, Gareth, hide your ears. Hide your ears? I don't know why I said that.